Hey everybody. Hello internet. This is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, and I just like to say, hoo-ha! Happy American Day! Happy America Day. Um, I don't know, I just wanted to make a quick video today and say that I hope everybody's enjoying the festivities, and I kind of just wanted to talk about like America being destroyed because it sucks. Happy July 4th. I just want to talk about like, how do we celebrate freedom? How does everybody celebrate freedom anymore? Because we're not free. I was looking at some old videos of mine, and I was reminded of one because I was like texting people and saying like Happy Independence Day, and this video from 2014. 2014, I couldn't find it, but I remember making it. And I remember that night I thought I was going to die because my attackers were hitting me in the heart so bad, and it was like they were burning like the left side of my body. And I made a video thinking about the movie Independence Day, where the president makes that speech and says, we will not go quietly into the night. And I was like, we're not fighting for just our freedom, right? It's like we don't even have freedom, independence. We're fighting to stay alive, right? And I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I thought I was going to die back then. I've talked to targeted individuals sometimes, and they've said, well, it feels like you're dying, but you haven't died, so they're not really murdering you. But then I kind of think about it, and God can heal anything. God can heal anything. Anything that seems like it can't be healed can be healed. We find freedom in that, in the impossible miracles of God, right? And what made this country, the dreams in people's hearts and how they felt, those things are real. The American dream, the American dream, the American dream. What my grandfathers taught me, my grandmothers taught me, my parents taught me, and I'm like, the world is so dark. There's no freedom. And like I said, right, and I know that you guys understand this who are targeted. We're not just fighting for our freedom, we're fighting for our very survival, right? So, how do we, like, I think of July 4th and everybody's celebrating it, and they're like, yeah, we fought for freedom. But these soldiers now are murdering innocent citizens, built on that freedom that our grandfathers and fathers and mothers and grandmothers, and ancestors built in this country. Um, it's really horrible. It's really horrible, but I want it to at least, we do have freedom in God, even in this thing where it's like I feel chained, my mind feels chained. Oh, I'm gonna probably do some videos on some of my first videos. Who is that guy? Like, I mean, every day has been a battle, for my to keep my sanity, and horrible being fired upon by weapon systems. So every day I've gone through this big change, right? Like I know a lot of you guys have, and I look at that guy from like 2014, and everybody's like, you look different. Like I was a lot fatter, um, because I've had a lot of pain, like in tightening of the muscles from vagus nerve stimulation, that big infection I had in that tooth, and also just not eating as well, right? Being targeted. But looking at some of those, I'm just like, who is that guy? I mean, we've probably all changed so much, to be unrecognizable to ourselves almost. Um, it's hard. This is tough because even if the world goes in a way of the New World Order or whatever that evil system is, Mordor, it's like we have to take those beliefs and those beliefs that created peace and prosperity and faith-based beliefs. We have to take it into that world, for however long this world lasts, however long humanity lasts, right? We have to take those things, and there's a freedom that comes from that, guys. I know that probably all of us feel like we don't have independence and freedom because we're being murdered. We're fighting for our lives in a country that ignore in all of our countries, right? In every country, The other citizens that are doing okay just ignore anybody who's being tortured. Actually, don't even ignore it. Hurt them more and push them into a mental institution or whatever, or horrible things happen because that's just easier than actually dealing with it in a logical and compassionate manner. And that's not the freedom of America, that America was built on. Fight for survival every day, but we can find freedom in that battle. We can find freedom in what we're fighting for. We're fighting for each other. I've met the best people, felt the most love, right? Um, for a lot of people fighting this, and there's freedom in that. There's a lot of freedom in that. It's a tough battle. The first thing of like, and this is Buddhism, but I was listening to Jordan Peterson, and he said that the first tenet of Buddhism is life is suffering, right? But how we face that suffering brings a certain freedom. Like, and even me, it's like I'll say like, well, I don't feel very free, I don't feel very independent, but the way that I fight this and the way that I see some of you guys fighting it, I feel a sense of freedom. I feel a sense of virtue. I feel a sense of we're in the right and we're fighting for humanity. No matter how dark or corrupt it gets, this is just how we were going to have to react to it. And some people are going to be picked for experimentation, and it just happened. And it just happened, right? Or did it just happen? Because I'm a big proponent of, is that I'm a big proponent. I'm really I really believe that things happen, and God, I don't know about testing us, but we go through suffering sometimes so that God can show us the balance of that, the other side of it. Like if I had never gone through these really painful things, and these aren't like what I'm saying now is not lip service. It's really true. If I had not gone through these things with targeting, like I've learned so much about resonance and our attitude and things like that. Very ironic that at some points I feel like I can't control my attitude and I can't control my resonance because I'm just, being microwaved so bad that I feel so depressed, and it's a low resonance, right? I have low resonance thoughts that are from the remote neural manipulation, and we learn as we go along, like how important energy is, how important like our attitude and faith can pull you up, and it's really ironic to learn those things when you feel as a human being like you're losing some of those things, right? But that's the way that life works. I've learned this, and I know some of you guys have touched it, have touched behind the veil, not just seen behind the veil, but felt behind the veil, and it's amazing. It's amazing how the darkest things can teach you so much, and it's the mystery of the universe. How horrible things, if you resist against them, you can find this unbelievable freedom. Braveheart, right? Look at those stories. Look at like Gandhi and Martin Luther King and Jesus. I don't want it. Jesus is in a tier all of his own, but you see what those people did with love and peace and sacrifice. They changed everything for thousands of years to come. Martin Luther King, for years and years, he'll be remembered as the best, like the best warrior for civil rights because he was so peaceful and so smart about it, right? And so I don't know. There's a freedom to that. There's a freedom to learning how ironic life is. I'm reminded, and I won't get too much into astrology, right? But I'm a Pisces, and it's a fish, two fish swimming in opposite directions, right? But there's a solid line in the middle. I talk about this sometimes, and I don't know. I don't think everything in astrology is right, but it in my life, without thinking about that, there are these horrible things that happen, right? Horrible things that happen, and incredible love on the other side, incredible knowledge about myself, incredible knowledge about how great God is, that He can actually work inside of these impossible situations where it seems like, oh, bullet, it's a bullet hitting me, it's a physical thing, and your body wears out after a long time, but things have come along that were outside of me, that just came along my path, or things that I thought were one thing that turned out to be another thing, and just flipped the whole situation. Learning about how great and powerful God is. What a freedom in that, right? And yesterday, I don't know, I think I crossed some wires in my head, and I was saying, oh, I'm going to celebrate the true soldiers, and I was thinking about Memorial Day, but I knew it was July 4th. But still, right, we celebrate soldiers that fight for freedom, right? We are soldiers that fight for freedom. And we have the hardest war of any soldier. And we're treated like we're trash and mentally ill, and we still got to do it, right? And we still got to do it. We still got to be soldiers. We don't have uniforms and people saluting us and saying, you're such a hero, right? Like some of the military that sits behind computer monitors and directs drones to kill innocent people and stuff like that, and also uses like integrated weapon systems to torture. Look at the poop of their targeted individual. It's a joke, I mean, but they do watch us use the bathroom. I bet you they're watching Tucker use the bathroom too. I bet you they're watching everything that Tucker does, and I bet you they're remote neural monitoring it at least. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna make a video about that. I just kind of, but another freedom too today, and this is why this video is probably like really disjointed, is because I was looking at those beginning videos, and I was like, a freedom for me at the beginning, and I'm not going to go straight back to this, right? I've changed a lot, and this situation has changed a lot. I think the way that I was doing it back then, speaking from the heart, and it helped a lot of people, right? So I wanted to do that with this video, kind of just not really think about what I'm going to say, and just speak directly from the heart so God can get in there, right? And I feel like that's a freedom, you know. I don't know though, like if I could if like I could go back, I don't know. I wouldn't want to have those videos to see what I used to be. I wouldn't want to. I don't like that, but I'm glad it's there, because if anybody wants to see the trajectory of a targeted individual, in one of the videos I was saying it's definitely my neighbors, right? And I'm using these Q-wave plates, and it's working, but I was being psyoped. I put the Q-wave plates on the wall, and they were like $500. I was using my 401k from Dell, and to buy these things, like one every month, and I had a job, like a pretty good job, so I was like using some of my paycheck and my 401k to buy these plates and put them against the wall, and then my remote targeting would de-intensify, right? So they were psyoping me, and in one of these videos, I'll do some videos on that. Um, Really interesting how I totally was like, it's definitely my neighbor shoot me. My remote attackers were making it feel exactly like that. Um, Also, this is a freedom. I'm just saying general freedoms, I guess. You got to give yourself, in this situation, as human beings, and the conditioning that's running through society, the new thing to follow and to be interested in. And what's boosted up is people that talk like they know everything, right? Some people know a lot, like Jordan Peterson. I think he could act like somebody who's like a know-it-all in some subjects, but there's this culture of speaking like you know exactly what's going on, and you're right, and you're formulating your theories, and it is exactly right. Have this freedom, and give others this freedom, and still we're still intelligent, but we've got to give ourselves freedom to be wrong, right? With this incredible complicated situation, give yourself a break. Don't feel like, oh, you thought it was this, and then you had, because like I thought it was my neighbors for years, right? And then I had to change that and go, well, it is remote. I've moved to 5 different places. It's the same, and they're not moving people in, right? In my circumstance, other people, it's like they may move people in to do noise campaigns and stuff like that. I got some guy who does noise campaigns right behind me, but that's like it, right? And I've had to change because we're on the other side of these advanced weapons, right? Give yourself the freedom to be human, right? In this situation especially, and I'm talking to myself, because like this is sorry about the comic book metaphors, but it's just the easiest way I can package everything to just get the message across, because I have these things in my head a lot, but like in the in The Dark Knight Rises, Batman says, I can't know my limits, right? Batman doesn't have limits. I can't know my limits. And me as a targeted individual, I said that at the beginning. I said, no matter what happens, no matter how bad it gets, I can't have limits because this is so serious. Whatever happens to me, however dead I feel, or however my brain is messed up, I cannot have limits. And you know what? That was wrong, and that was trapping myself. It seems like being strong sometimes to grind things and to never give an inch of of trying to be more to fight something bigger. But there's a freedom in understanding, right? We're just human beings. We're human beings, and we are fragile in certain areas, and we can be strong, but we got to take care of those fragile areas, right? And so I don't the culture that's coming out, and this authoritative people following authoritative sources, and people that act like they know everything. I feel like it's wrong for humanity, and we always stumble and learn about new things. If we do it in the right way, it's great for humanity. It's great for all of us. Um, I don't know. That's just a general little thing. Give yourself some freedom to recalibrate on what this is, and don't think you're giving in or being dumb, or you are, this stuff is different than everything else in society. Well, no, a lot of things in society now are hidden. Um, but happy July the 4th. You know, feel like we've got to carry on what America is, in ourselves, in our brains, in our minds, in our faith, in our heart, in our spirit, and it'll never die. You know, maybe transform, right? Maybe transform, because all these countries are transforming into something we don't like, something really bad. And what we had in our hearts about America and how it worked and everything, we can carry that on, and it just has to kind of transform in a new world with greater evils, right? It just has to get stronger. At the same time, giving ourselves the freedom sometimes to be weak. You know, give yourself the freedom to be weak sometimes. If you have those times, if you give yourself a break, that you can't hold the world on your shoulders, right? Because that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And there's been a lot of mind control on me, because I feel, as a Christian, humbled and responsible to serve mankind, right? It's always what I was raised to do secularly, what my faith tells me to do, and just what I've learned in my life and been conditioned in my life to know that's good for me, and it's good for others, right? To feel responsible for other people's well-being, and not, you know, but the mind control, right? The mind control brings it into a guilt. Everybody's dying. I can't help everybody. I know probably a lot of you guys feel this way. And it's just sometimes you don't even consciously feel it, but people are being tortured and dying around you. Nobody's paying attention to it, and we're trying to get awareness out. We're trying to get attention, right? Attention to this problem. And it's very difficult when the remote neural manipulation is intensifying a responsibility, a feeling of responsibility for other people. When you can help, you've got to help, right? But this perverts everything. These programs and what the top of the pyramid are doing to humanity, they want everybody on the extremities, right? No matter if you're a good person or you're a bad person, they want you on the extremes. And I feel like, we've got to get here. Not meet with the bad people or anything like that, but we've got to balance it out. Um, Freedom and balance. Whatever situation that you're in, there's a freedom in that balance. But I don't think I can celebrate the way this country is. And I'd say it used to be America, but I guess it's America in name, but it's not America in the spirit of what America was created in, right? Because I mean, we as targeted individuals, as survivors of biosurveillance, bioexperimentation, being murdered in our homes, being harassed by neighbors, like a full-on communist communist communities, but with high technology, right? It's not freedom, it's fear, right? Like, okay, that's another one. A lot of you guys will know that quote, right? This is not freedom, this is fear. And that's the point. That's the point of it. And we have to see it in common sense and see they're trying to make everyone afraid. They're trying to make everyone afraid of each other. They're trying to make everybody distrustful of each other. They're trying to divide. So great freedoms can come from doing exactly what evil does not want you to do, right? A great freedoms. Um, there's a lot of things that evil doesn't want me to do, um, that I'm just going to do. I'm going to do because it's a great victory. You know, think about what evil does want you to do. This program being the main evil right in our lives wants you to yell at the V2K. It wants you to hurt somebody. It wants you to be angry. It wants you to be hopeless. It wants you to not to lose your faith. Whatever kind of faith you have. It wants you to lose that. It wants you to be isolated from friends and family. Um, so we can do a video sometime about what this program and what evil wants you to do, wants from you, right? It wants those things that come naturally from people. When you're being murdered, you react and you want to defend your life. That's what this program and that's what evil wants. So we have to invert that in a good way, right? We do exactly what evil does not want, which means we live in peace as much as we can. We help others. We still believe. We still have faith in God. It's exactly what evil doesn't want. We've seen what evil is capable of, right? We've seen what evil and lies and all that BS is capable of. The freedom comes not in just having a perfect society where you're secularly free, because that's not happening right now for anybody in the world. There are people who are delusional and they don't know about all the horrors that are happening to other people and coming for them and their families, right? There's just living in delusion, but there's no truth. There's living in delusion and ignorance, but there's no real true freedom and peace in the world. The true freedom and peace in the world and for America in name only, I feel, is fighting evil tooth and nail, resting when we can, right? But never giving in. Because if you give in to this system, and I know nobody watching my videos like going to give in to the system except for perpetrators, you give in, you lose. Like you lose immediately, and you lose your soul. You lose what America wanted to instill in the people. Even if it was just an experiment between England and some of the people living here, it created something real, right? And I'm not sure about that. So I don't know a lot about the secret history of America or anything like that. I guess all I wanted to say is Happy Independence Day. There are ways that we can remain independent even when we've got I've got V2K, so this is even talk about the remote neural manipulation, but not even the hypnosis and the remote neural manipulation, but it seems like a group of people are always watching your thoughts, right? The V2K is like people, it sounds like people sitting there. I know lots of chatterbox, but this morning I was like, y'all sitting on the thing on July 4th? And the dude was like, yep, we're here. And I was like, wow, you're murdering innocent Americans and torturing innocent Americans on the 4th of July. They don't even turn on the automated systems fully for me on July 4th and go out and enjoy themselves. How could they celebrate Independence Day? How could these murderers celebrate Independence Day? Knowing what they're doing to this country, knowing what they're doing to innocent Americans, and then just making up crimes and stuff because they need money funneled into DHS fusion centers, and they need this business of training, research, and development on integrated weapon systems. They need it to make money and streamline these systems and everything like that. How could they? I mean, how could they celebrate, American freedom? And then all the other stuff I'm not talking about, right? There's so much stuff going on where it's like, Man, how did we give it away? I didn't give it away. Like I didn't give away America. I would fight. I am fighting. I'm fighting and fighting and fighting. I just don't see it. You know what I was thinking is like some of these military guys. It's like they're attacking them too, but it's like they have to put a weapon in their hands so that these military guys don't. They're subdued and neutralized, right? Not only do they neutralize some men who could have been powerful in a fight to keep this country free and humanity free. They don't just neutralize them, but they use them to murder like compassionate people who can inspire and can calm down situations and things like that. It's very ingenious. This evil, this evil that is attacking humanity at the top of the pyramid, is very ingenious, but it just seems like that to us. I'm going to go ahead and say this because it's true. It's true on a deep level where I don't know exactly how it's true, but it's true. Is that the top of the pyramid, the humans at the top of the pyramid are connected, and a lot of this system is connected to something that it's not ingenious what they're doing. It's simple child's play to them because it's a different layer of the food chain. And for those of you who maybe don't believe that and believe that humans are the pinnacle of the food chain and we're at the top, we've got to go there. We have to go there because you see what's happening. No human beings could have done this. But think about Pepper. She's a dog, right? She's a smart dog, but I kind of control her, right? And I'm not saying like I'm doing anything bad to my dog. I'm just trying to make a metaphor. She's not gonna be able to figure out what I'm doing and everything like that. So it's kind of like we're dealing with that, and we've got to go there because we can move up, right? And humanity's just gonna have to do that. Like there's a challenge here, and these things are hard to see as challenges. Um, it's hard to put this into words, but um, bringing yourself up to the next level awakening, right? So I was thinking this too today. The American dream is over, and the nightmare has been going on for a long time, but is really in the last couple of years just a nightmare has blossomed, right? I don't like saying blossom because it sounds like a positive thing. It's grown, right? But when you wake up, you're neither having a dream or a nightmare, right? I should have said that at the beginning. That was a good that sparked something in my head, my heart. The dream, right? The dream is kind of over. The nightmare has begun. But when you wake up, you're not having a dream or a nightmare, right? So the point of that is the more that we know, go further. This is horrible. This is horrible. It's insane. That dream that you were having has turned into a nightmare, right? That dream maybe you were having as a kid through, you know, whatever until you got targeted, and now it's a nightmare. But you got to wake up. You got to wake up, and we got to see how things really are. And then it's not really a dream or a nightmare. You're just awake and you're just ready for what's happening. So it's a metaphor about going to that next level, which everyone's going to have to do. This is a fish swimming in opposite directions, tight line in the center. We've got a head start, guys. I know it's crazy. Like it seems like we're the most unlucky people to be hit by this stuff, and actually, it's just so many people being hit by these weapon systems. You may feel unlucky, but it's just so many people that it's happening to. Um, but it's like we're ahead of the game in what's coming, right? And the technologies that are coming, and the things that are going to be happening. And there's this. I don't want to do another movie metaphor. I guess it's Independence Day, right? So I'm free to do that. In Serenity, at the end, the assassin's trying to. He has this move where he can hit this nerve, right? He takes his hand and he hits the nerve in this guy at the beginning, and the guy gets paralyzed because it's this nerve cluster right in his back. I don't know if it's like real science or anything like that, but it's this nerve cluster that paralyzes him, and then he like pushes the guy on a sword, right? Because the guy's paralyzed. And I think about us sometimes, and I think about me and the mind control and the remote neural manipulation. I'm mind controlled in a lot of certain ways, but then I think about things that society is going to be trying to propagandize people with and mind control them with. It's gonna be like that move, right? Hitting that nerve cluster. So at the end of the movie, Captain Malcolm Reynolds, is fighting the assassin, and the assassin does that move on the nerve cluster, right? And Malcolm Reynolds does this, and then the guy thinks that he's paralyzed, right? But then Malcolm Reynolds like hits it, like elbows him in the throat because that nerve cluster was taken out during the war. You see that metaphor? You see that metaphor for the future of how things are going. It's almost like those nerve clusters that they're going to be using to hurt other people or control them, mind control them. We're, we're going to be kind of missing that because they done so much stuff to our brain already. I kind of think about that sometimes. I'm not sure how good that's going to work, but I think it's a cool metaphor. A lot of times my attackers try and do things that I think would really wig somebody out who had just been like the first few years of targeting. And to me, it's like I don't even react. It's not even a thing, right? And then they have to try something else, which nothing they're doing really works besides changing my brain. Like literally, they have my brain mapped out, and they're just doing really specific things to certain areas of my brain, like interfering in hypnosis, right, to make that more intense, right? So the hypnosis thing is huge. If you're a long-term targeted individual, you need to start using some of those positive affirmations, like neutralizing. Get positive hypnosis to play when you're asleep, because those things can intensify what's really happening with the weapon systems, right? It can make you're hypnotized to like kind of perceive those things as bigger, right? They really happen. Like remote neural manipulation is really true, but with the hypnosis, it can make pain worse. It can make perception of being trapped worse. It can do a lot of things over many, many years when you're hypnotized in your sleep and you got subliminals in your sleep. So it's a huge, important thing that can um, kind of shed the skin of what's happening with the weapon systems on you when you're dealing with neutralizing that hypnosis at night, because they're hypnotizing you when you sleep. They're trying to hypnotize you and work on your perspective, your perception, your positive, your negative feelings actually, and stuff like that. Okay, so I just wanted to say happy 4th of July, guys. Happy Independence Day. It's really sad. Like the only probably outside time I'm gonna get is bring my dog outside today. She's doing good today though. She's feeling a lot healthier. I think there's something wrong with her stomach because she goes in and out of these things. But I've always, and this is a major thing. I know my attackers hit her and they do weird stuff to her, but like in my head I'm like, no, they're not, because I can't deal with it, right? And then I understand how my dad and my mom look at my situation. It's like it's not that bad because we can't do anything about it, right? And they're the most capable people in the world. There's a freedom with that, to looking at things when you're targeted and you don't want to know, right? You don't want to go there because you've got so much to deal with, and it can help you to forgive some of these gang stalkers that know nothing, right? They don't know there are some that know there are microwave weapons, but the ones that don't know anything, and then you guys with families that don't know how to deal with this, you can look at your own situation and be like, what do I don't want to know? And like I've kind of screwed up and been like, no, that's not happening, because I've already got too much stuff that's happening, right? There's a freedom in that forgiveness. Um, Forgiving people that aren't murderers, who maybe are thinking this thing's different. I think we're going to need that, because I got to tell you guys, y'all have heard this from me a lot. I think the only way that this ends, and this is how it's going to end, is we need allies. Like people who are targeted around the world are speaking out about it, but we need a whole big percentage of the population that is not targeted to become our allies and to help us out. And some of them can actually, since our brains are being messed up, they may be able to think of some things that we can't. I think that there's so many target individuals, we could probably think of everything, but we need allies. The problem with it is that people know that if they try and help us, I think that a lot of people know that this is happening to a lot of citizens around the world, that they're very worried to step up and start talking about it because they know they'll be targeted, right? This is an obvious thing, but it's a complicated thing because there are other issues where people jump in, protection of animal rights and everything, protection of human rights in so many situations where they know that they may be like, um, harassed or something but they never think about being microwaved to death, right? Being tortured. They never think of those things, and that's a big problem for us. We need allies. Like we need allies like Niels Melzer and real people up there. I don't know. I don't know. Like I still think Niels Melzer is for real. But my thing is this: there are United States codes, and there are codes in every country that say if something is for national security, any citizen in that country can be tortured, experimented on, and murdered. So I don't know why the UN wouldn't directly take those United States codes and say they're torturing people for national security. Definitely, that's proof that they have these USC codes or US codes, right? Um, so I'm questioning on that. I always just think it's like the system has been built with certain levers so that it's impossible for us to escape. Anyone, not just targeted individuals, but anybody in the system, it's like it traps us all. Like I was saying it this morning, like I don't even think my attackers want to be there. Like they're human operators on mine because they do a lot of brain to computer interface. They smell things and then they'll uh, you know do their wavelength brain to computer interface to my brain, and also their feelings and emotions about like people and things and stuff like that. So it's a very specific thing. They need human operators on mine. um, but it's weird. I was like, if they could make their own decisions, I have a feeling that they would be like, nah, we don't want to target this guy. But they're trapped. Like, they're trapped. And I'm not giving them an out. I'm not giving the justification. I'm just saying the people torturing us and murdering us, they have entered into these contractors and torturing people, so they have to have certain clearances. And it's like the mafia. Once they get in, they're trapped. If they try and get out, they'll probably be targeted too, or murdered, or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they could transfer to another job. I don't see, but I guess their clearance here, that would be a danger of them saying something about it. So I think it's a very dangerous. They get in there and they're just stuck, right? Um, which is very dangerous. When you have people torturing and murdering people with remote microwaves, there should be a system where if they don't want to do it anymore, it's like immoral or something. It's always been immoral. But there should be systems of reprieve and justice, right? In every system. It's ridiculous to say that about the targeting programs, right? Because it's just complete Satanism. It's complete crime. It's complete. So it's like it never even begins with trying to do something good, right? Um, yeah, never even begins with trying to do something good. But I was just thinking about it too. It's like because this is so non-transparent, right? And it's in the shadows, and people don't even won't even say that it's happening, right? It becomes more and more corrupt as it goes along, and that's a fact. I'm seeing that. We all know that, and it's like they're informants and agent provocateurs sometimes are like drug dealers and stuff like that. So they've got like they're hiring drug dealers and criminals and thugs, to attack the middle class who are being experimented on and tortured. So it's gotten like to where the criminals are in control. Definitely the top criminals, these ex-military, and whatever you have in the contractors, but the informants they get to gang stalk and stuff like that are trash. Like they're trash. They're criminals. Like they're a criminal element, very dangerous element, and they're giving them money and power. People who won't go get an honest job, right? And they're attacking people who just want to take care of their families and have an honest job and try and help people, right? I mean that it's getting worse and worse. Eventually, you're going to have just every gang stalker because people are going to start to understand, right? I think people are starting to understand this entails more than just harassing and surveilling a person. That there's microwaves involved. So the program is going to keep trying to go on, and only trash who knows how bad it is. Only the trash is going to sign up to do it. So there's more. It's going to be what's that? You know that in the ocean when all the scum builds up, right? It's kind of like that, and it's kind of like the metaphor of like if you keep something in the dark, it's going to grow a lot of mold on it and stuff like that. Um, Okay, guys, I just wanted to wish y'all a happy July 4th. I would have done it outside, but I don't want to talk about this stuff outside where my neighbors could come out and hear me talking about it because the gang stalking around me is not too bad. Actually, the John and the other old guy who have gang stalked me, they've done time things like bringing their trash out right when I'm coming out and stuff like that. The older guy, he seems like it's so weird. He was saying he's like I heard about your grandma. Very sorry about that. And I was like, what? Like, cause I didn't hear him, and he like kind of backed up because I think he thinks I'm crazy, right? Because he's been told that by the sheriff's department or whatever. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, she lived a very long life, and he was like surprised because we don't really talk. He just gang stalked me, and we just look at each other. But he now these are good men. That's why I say like sometimes we have to forgive gang stalkers because these good men just they lived in a different world where this never could have happened. Where if it was something so serious as you got a time you're walking through a hallway to this guy and we want to try and get him out of there, they lived in a different time where authority kind of could be trusted on big things like that, right? And now it's different. So like I look at these older men who have done a little bit of gang and then backed off because their instincts told them something. I think my channel also helped me. I think some of these guys in my condo, one of them actually talked to me about looking into it, and he talks to everybody around here. So I know that he looked at my channel, right? So this channel kind of saved me from getting gang stalked into the ground. And it hasn't helped me much with the weapons attacks, right? Those are worse, and they've done worse things to my brain because I've been speaking out, right? Just with a small YouTube channel. I don't want to devalue this like that, guys. This has been important for all of us and for you guys that have been here all along the way and on the live streams and everything that we've done. I don't mean to devalue it, but I'm talking in comparison to how big this situation is, right? Like, this is an important thing that we're doing. You guys are important, guys and girls that watch my channel. When you comment, it's important. It's important that we get this stuff out. But I'm just talking about like on a scale, even like the bigger organizations like Freedom from Targeted Individuals and PACs, even those things are like against this, not that big, right? A global torture program where people are making tons of money, and then what SHP talks about is very, very true, that this data is going to many people, right, and other contractors. And it's like I feel like this, and like I'm not sure, right, because nobody tells me anything about my situation, but I looked at my ASN number and saw tons Honeywell and Lockheed Martin and all these bio research facilities and insurance companies. And I think there's like the criminal thing around me. And I know a lot of you guys and men and women feel like this. You, uh, what's a good way to say it? You lads and ladies, you lads and ladies feel this way. There's so much money in my situation. I feel like anyone would betray me. That feeling is awful because there's so many people that are so good, right? But I feel like there's just so much money on me and like in the research on my brain and stuff that it's like even if I don't know, y'all know those feelings, those negative feelings. You're just not sure. You're not sure how much, because money is everything to some people. Money is just everything to some people out there in society. Um, and I'm just like, will I ever be out of this, all this money and experimentation being, done on me? Will I ever be in a situation where where I'm not thinking in the back of my head, well, there's so much money in this and they really want to get me. So, I mean, I don't like talking about this. I don't like talking about the mistrust of people and COINTELPRO and all that stuff, right? I don't like talking about it, but it's It's a thing that is just a crippling. It cripples us. It's not. That's how people get things done, is that they trust each other. They get tight in tight groups and stuff like that. And it's just like, I feel like that. Well, I don't want to go into that. I just want to talk about freedom today. How are we truly free? You know, truly free. Um, we can't control what others do. We can do as much as we can to stop these torture programs, but they're pretty big, and it's a lot of different levers from the bottom are going to happen before things level out and this changes for us. I really did. I keep belief, and I'm keeping belief now because I've seen how just in my individual situation, oop, this is the end. I'm never going to have my brain again. And then I will find something. God will put something in my path, right? That just causes a miracle to happen. And I see that like in my individual targeting situation, and then what's happening to humanity, and I don't see how it could turn around, right? I mean, they're saying there's a new variant on COVID, right? And there's going to have to be new lockdowns for right around July 4th. They said that, right? They're laughing at us while they lock us down and take our money and take our resources and everything like that. I saw people out here. Nobody. I haven't seen a mask in forever, right? I haven't seen anybody wearing a mask in forever. Everybody was wearing masks around my condo because everybody knows about this new variant of. How did people latch on to that news so quickly, right? The news that the top of the pyramid wants them to have. So they put their mask back on and get scared again, and there's another lockdown. But these things that are so central to us saving ourselves and knowing about these dangers, people won't even look into. It doesn't even exist, right? Because the system doesn't want them to know about it. There's so much centralized control at the top, and it's like everything that they want to be. And it's even in social media. Like people think like they think they're speaking out for conservatives and the right and stuff like that, and that's going to change and that's going to save America when there's so many more problems above what they're talking about, right? The system, the top of the system wants them to say that because they want people on this layer talking about these things when there's problems. There's way more problems, and we've got to be brave and talk about them, right? Like, and I'm not talking about you guys that are watching this video. Talking about just everyone, all of humanity, right? That's a freedom, man. It's a you still got this, and you still got this, which would be actually typing. you know we've got, this is the most dangerous thing. Think about how much they're trying to censor social media and say that some thoughts are dangerous. Think about how they hide the targeting program and everything like that, because if everyone knew around the world, like everyone, it would be over in a day. This is your greatest weapon, and this, the pen is mightier than the sword, and your typing and everything. You've got freedoms, right? I'm talking to myself because I don't feel free a lot. I don't feel free at all. People like living in my head, basically. They're not. It's a technology it's communication, right? Through a line of directed energy to my brain, and my attackers can see what's going on in my brain, and they can speak uh, using microwave hearing that goes down to my inner ear. So it's a scientific thing. It's not people living in my head, but it feels like I'm in a group that hates me all the time. What I've done, and I guess I can talk about some of these things later, um, but when I think about things, I'll kind of think of them in a meme that I can laugh at and that neutralizes my attackers, right? Which is kind of bad because you want to just think how you want to think free. I don't even remember what it feels like to just have my own brain and think my own isolated thoughts, right? And not have a group of people, which sound, maybe sometimes they're not there, maybe sometimes it's just chatterbot, but you feel, and then it's not even just it. This is how far it goes, right? It's not even just that you're having that feeling with your own brain of like having V2K and people like talking about like stuff just whatever general things, saying general things, but they're also injecting EEGs of reaction. So like I have long ago stopped naturally reacting to my attackers, right? It's just been it's like when somebody stabs somebody to death and the dead body's laying there, and you can stab them again, but the body ain't gonna react, right? That's kind of like my brain. I'm not saying my brain's dead. I'm just saying it's like it's going on so long that it's just like a conditioned natural thing to be like, okay, well, I'm not even gonna react to this thing, right? Because it's been so many years, a decade overtly in either November or one of those months, maybe October. It'll be a decade, a 10-year anniversary for me. You know, the guy in Count of Monte Cristo, um, he was in prison for 10 years. And I think 15 years. And he wrote that thing. He wrote the thing on the wall, God will bring me justice, right? He ended up getting justice. And I feel like that with us. This is an imprisonment, right? It's imprisonment with torture, but we still have life after this. And I really just don't see how this can stay the same way still. But I can't just say like, well, this is how it's going to happen, right? I think a lot of people are either saying like, you know, well, it's not going to end, and we're always going to be tortured, and this is going to go into a neuro society, and they're still going to keep torturing us and everything like that. But that's talking about something unprecedented that we don't know how it's going to roll out, right? So I prefer to stay on the optimistic side. You want to be optimistic and wrong. You don't want to be pessimistic and right, because if you're optimistic and wrong along the way that you're being optimistic, and you may be wrong about a big thing, this path of optimism where you're like something good can happen, all these good things are going to happen along the way, right? So it's way better to be optimistic and then be wrong about some big situations, because none of us know how some of this stuff is going to play out. We can do research. I need to do a lot more research and see where the pieces are fitting and everything, and also do some jerky things like I don't know how illegal it's gonna be. That's why I haven't, like I've told you, I'm gonna call DHS, I'm gonna call NIH, call the State Department. I'm actually gonna I have my email almost ready to send to the State Department. I kind of I can't tell y'all because it's gonna be a surprise. But I wonder about the legality of it, so I'm gonna have to just call, you know, make a video right with my screen recorder, and then ask them at the end, is it legal for me to put this out, right? Which I don't think it will be. I don't think you can have a conversation with the Department of Homeland Security and then just put it out on YouTube when you're talking about like national security issues that you're going through that they're paid to lie about, right? Woo! Look at it, hey, America, right? And there was a comic book that just came out, Captain America storyline, where he stops believing in the American dream. A lot of people were talking about that. Um, they were very angry about it. They thought it was anti-American. It's happening around July 4th, right? Which I think is another people just laughing at, you know, people in the cult just laughing at us while they kill us. Um, but I don't know. You know, I've stopped believing in the American dream. I wasn't allowed to have the American dream, right? Like they wanted America and the system, the contractors decided that I could just be a guinea pig, an experimentation. They could destroy my life, and they didn't give a crap. You know, if I have a family or a job, um, you know, I've tried to hold a job during the targeting, but then I just had the B2K and like just the it was just so bad, right? Um, the positive thing, and I say that, but I've made a life through this. I've made as much of a life as I can, and there's just certain times and seasons in life that I see, and I see that it's much more complicated than just the secular world and variables, obviously, and just variables. There are variables that are that would seem random to us, but right, there's things in life where there's variables that just seem random, but then this cohesive destiny on the other side, right? And these independent variables that do all these things to you that seem so random, chaotic, and awful, right? That would destroy your life, feed into your destiny. But sometimes our perspective and perception When we're being mind controlled, we're like random variables took my destiny. But you got to see it as you thought your destiny was something else, right? But then this changed this. Freedom in perception. There's a freedom in how you perceive things. Um, there's a freedom in how you perceive things, and it will change how you move along, right? I just want to tell you all that. That's been my life, and I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, Kyle thought the UN was going to save us," and it's way better on these things to be optimistic and in some big thing, not because it moves us along more to something actually happening. Maybe that didn't work out, something, and then you do a lot better things along the way for your individual life and for other people, right? Somewhere along, and I'm not saying like that's how I am all the time. I'm saying I've lost that along the way. Like in the last couple of years, I've started to become more pessimistic, going just naturally as a human being when you go through these things for so many years and people still don't give a crap, even when it comes out in the mainstream media, that what you said 10 years ago, they're saying, oh, people being hit by remote microwaves, and you were telling people 10 years ago that you were being hit by remote microwaves and other people being hit by remote microwaves. There's a certain conditioned pessimism to that, right? You fight that, you hang on to God, you understand that there's miracles, and then you remember the miracles that happen in your life, you know, and listen to other people's testimonies about the miracles that happen in their life, right? And we can lift each other up, as much as we can, as much as we can. I know we're all struggling, and that's why I say a very important thing is to build these allies, right, that are not targeted individuals. The problem with that, there's another problem besides just they're scared to do it, is that most people are ignorant of what's actually happening and they actually join up on the other side. So it's like evil has kind of uh, gotten it jumped in front of that cart, right? And they get these people that maybe are close, like would see this program or whatever. They don't know about the full extent of the microwave, and then they start using them to actually kill us, right? The people that maybe we could have gotten over to, like helping us. I know that that sounds confusing. But anyway, okay, guys, I was just kind of just talking about things, speaking from the heart. I really hope everybody's having a good day in the festivities. The American spirit is something to celebrate, and there's a freedom in that spirit, and there's a freedom in the helper. Jesus Christ said a helper will come. I think that he meant he was going to come to everybody's heart that prayed to him and looked to him for salvation. He's going to rise up in us. That's what awakening from a dream or a nightmare is, right? And it's awakening from both, and it's better than both. The dream is awesome, and the nightmare is the most awful thing. When you awake, there's a balance that has more peace and joy, understanding and strength, purpose, right? In that waking up from both the dream and the night, you know. Learning from both of those things, right? You learn from both of those things. There's a great freedom in that, in understanding. And I think that people kind of nowadays they kind of stay away from the full understanding of what's happening in society because it scares people. People are looking to laugh and to be entertained and everything, and information that would be important is turned into infotainment, right? By the very fact of what people want to see and by how these social media platforms operate. It's very, we've got to look at these things and how we're being controlled and just admit it. Just admit it that they corral us in a lot of ways, and that's the way that we'll actually defeat it. Um, that's I go back to that thing. It's a weird, very ironic form of freedom and strength to understand what a perfect engine of destruction you're facing, right? When you want to be a healer, when you want to help people, when you want to fight for life, affirm life, do no harm, right? You got to know, like, because like the doctor in Saul, he was like, saying how perfect the guy had set everything up, and the other guy's like, why are you giving this guy so much credit, right? We've got to think that this is simple, but if you do that, you're not going to see the things coming from this perfect engine of destruction, right? Helps you to defeat it way better, you know. Helps you to defeat it to know the truth of the scum and the evil in the world, how much power it has right now, and how really in the end it does not matter because God has all the power, and he can let these things go on for as long as he wants, or stop them right now. Um, there's a freedom in that. There's a freedom in just in hanging on to God. I think a lot of people would think that's like slavery, and to have to believe something, to but it's the truth, and it's a weird irony. When you obey God, you're actually so much more free, than you would be with this secular, I can just do whatever I want, this nihilism. You're enslaved, you hurt other people, you lower your resonance, you lower other people's resonance, right? And it's destruction, it's slavery, right? Yeah, well, I won't go into a bunch of stuff about what I think about the Garden of Eden story, but I just think that our God, wanted us to have training wheels on certain things, and there's a sign. I think there's actually a historical, um, out of this world explanation for the Garden of Eden, but it's like something wanted man to have a lot of knowledge that he was not ready for, and a lot of things that he wasn't ready for. And it's why we're aberrant and full of sin. Right? It's what people call sin. Sin is such a nebulous concept to me. I see evil, right? I see resonance. Like it's like we can look at what the Bible says is sin, and then we can look at it scientifically about what's good for humanity, what's bad for humanity, what's entwined in our destinies and our evolution and everything. You can look at sin as anything that would keep man from getting close to God, right? That works. That's exactly what I think. That's a lot exactly what you other Christians would say keeps us away from God. You know, so the world is full of sin. It's always just when I think of the word sin, I think of it as bad things, but you can put those bad things into different scientific categories, right? Um, I guess that's it. I guess that's it. Happy America Day. Happy America Day, guys. Um, I say let's keep going a lot. And it, I try not to do lip service too much, right? But sometimes, you're just hurting and you're like, man, let's just stay strong, right? It's all you can say. Um, but to truly move forward, to truly move forward, this could be a freeing thing today, guys. Start a new chapter. Whoever you are out there watching this is a targeted individual, or if you're not a targeted individual, but your life still is a mess, it's in shambles, right? Humpty Dumpty. Um, Start a new chapter. Start a new chapter. Take everything good from the past, and then kind of compartmentalize all that bad stuff in a big general ball, right? And reinvent yourself and start a new chapter, right? That's a freedom right there, to recreate yourself. I love that part in the Passion of the Christ, and I've showed that on my videos where he falls down, he's carrying his cross, and he falls down, and like there's this cut scene to where he was a child, and ooh, where he's, mm, where he's a child, and he fell down, and his mother picked him up. And then he says, you I can make all things new, right? It's Jesus. I can make all things new. I believe it. I truly believe it. Such a freedom. Ooh, didn't know that. Didn't know. I guess I didn't. Yeah, that is a pretty strong scene. Um, you may feel like you're totally done. Like you may feel like you're just, this is it, and I'm never going to be healthy again, and I'm never going to have happiness again, or whatever with your targeting. Um, I don't feel like that right now, but there have been times, a lot of times, right, where I've kind of felt like this is it. I'm not going to be able to, have a family and a career because my brain's so messed up. But then, God finds me a way to heal up a little bit. I'll find a way to move forward. I love that scene. I can make all things new, mother. You know, and I think that it's a time that, and especially in these times, in any dark times in the past, after Jesus, but he said a helper will come. Especially in these times. And I think it's the Holy Spirit, right? It's the Holy Spirit, but that's him, right? It's part of the Trinity, and that's him rising in us. And what can Jesus not do? What can he not heal? And of course we're going to die. Of course we die in our lives and things like that. But during these times of great suffering and struggle, there's like ultimate healing, but it's like you've got to fight for that healing. It doesn't just like you can't just be like, oh, you can't be in a low resonance state and connect with it, right? You can pull yourself up, but you can't if you know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. All right, guys, happy America Day. I love y'all. It's kind of just hanging out on here and just kind of speaking from the heart about some things. When I think about freedom, I don't think it's a place. I don't think America is a place anymore. I think that it is. We have this thing called America, but they're trying to really destroy it, destroy the people in it. And it's going to have to be like we carry it with us. We carry what freedom truly means, and we're going to have to build it somewhere else, right? We're going to have to take those values like our forefathers did, right? Like our founding fathers did, and we're gonna have to do the same thing. It's a tragedy that people who are supposed to be protecting this country are doing the same thing to it, which people are gonna have to get out of it, just like our forefathers escaped from England, right? And England wasn't even as bad as what they're doing. I guess so. There was like the Inquisition. That wasn't the time of the Inquisition. Forget I said that. All right, guys, I love y'all, and I'll definitely see y'all in the next one. I kind of just wanted to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. I hope you're doing something fun. I'm probably gonna play video games, do some research and stuff like that. And I'll still be doing research. I think this is good, guys. I think this new, I'm warming up, right? I know I'm making some long videos right now. I feel like some of the videos about um, I'm going to make a video about Tucker Carlson. Well, I don't want to go into like what I'm thinking of, but it's like I feel like to put in our 2 cents about targeting, it's hard to do like a 10-minute video that's just on a trendy subject or something like that. I don't want to do that. I want to be honest about what I'm doing. Um, but I'm going to do some YouTube tricks for us, for targeted individuals. Y'all saw the title, Alex Jones exposes all. And I got tons of views on that video. It's a great video. Like it's a lot of really, but titles, man. You get the right title on YouTube, and it's like, boy, your video goes, it gets a lot more views, right? The way that information flows is bad for us. It's bad for everyone. Bad for humans. It's really bad for humans. Like a snazzy title and a good thumbnail, and people are going to a video about like um, I don't know, like you just weird stuff that has no validity, and it's just like, could the Loch Ness monster have actually been Bigfoot too? And it's like people are really like, what does this mean? It's like really because everything's so played out, right? That this is like extreme, right? Extreme. We got to go extreme infotainment, right? And I want to use some tricks, but I'm not going to trick you guys, right? I'm going to put out good content and good information and try and be, entertaining, but and use some of those tricks, but not, obviously not trick my subscribers and everything like that, and give y'all bad SE SE content with just good titles. All right, guys, I love y'all. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling on. I kind of just don't want to get off the video. Is that doing that? Like I'm picking up. Like, never mind. I'll talk about that later. Talk about some things later. Stay productive. That's one thing. Find something to stay productive. Even if you're like sick or something like that, just clean your place, organize, right? If you organize, and I'm definitely not saying like follow my example. I'm saying I got to get on the ball, but organizing your surroundings and staying clean and everything like those things that sometimes when you're being tortured to death and you can barely get out of bed, those things are hard to stay on top of. But like I'm my this may help y'all because my situation is like I've been targeted so long and I've been doing some things, but like waiting for this to end and things have fallen by the wayside. Now it's like when I do have some energy, I'm like, where do I start? And so I'm going to be starting with small steps. And I'm doing this already, but I'm saying just like starting with small steps and just writing the list down. It's a lot harder with the remote neural manipulation. Makes me forget so many things. It's like they're really working on my active memory, and I need to learn more about like the different types of memory, but they're really working on what you use to have a conversation, your active memory, what you would use to like say, what do I need to do today, right? Kind of forgetting what I was supposed to do. I'll go to the store to get two things and I'll forget one of them, right? Um, so please pray for me on that, guys, about my memory. It's very targeted. It's like a targeted thing of remote neural manipulation because it's specific, right? I know they do this to a lot of other targets, but it's like I'm doing videos, so what's good about me doing videos and what people want to watch is me kind of just speaking about things and talking about them. So if they target the active memory, right, and they do all sorts of things to me before, during, and after I'm making videos, but they target that, and then it's like my communication is kind of cut off because I'm not going through that active memory, right? It's like, oh, what was I going to talk? And then it disconnects things that could be truly awesome. I know my videos are still awesome, guys. I really appreciate y'all watching. Please subscribe. Please share. Please like. I'm gonna be trying to put this up on Twitter. I'll put my videos up all the time. Facebook, I'm locked out of for some reason, and then yeah. So I wanted to put my videos out on a bunch of things. And let's keep talking about this. I feel like this is the time where we can talk about these things very logically. I think that the only like we've kind of gotten past that when we talk about directed energy weapons and neuro weapons and remote microwaves. It's a lot less crazy, right? So we don't. So that's a thing that we have to worry about less. Like at the beginning when I started making videos, completely crazy. Make YouTube videos about that. Like nobody's listening to it. You really can't talk about it in a very good logical way because everybody's still trying to figure out a lot of stuff, and mainstream's never talked about it, right? This one good thing that we have is we can talk about these things in a very formal scientific manner now. And even if you're giving your testimony about it, and then you're just use the words that they're using in those mainstream articles about the agents being hit. Use that wording for people so that they can connect it, right. I don't know, like a lot of people I've talked to haven't even seen anything about that, or they're lying about that. I think people have seen that stuff and they literally understand that people are being hit by remote microwaves, but then they say they have not seen that stuff to me because they don't want to feed my delusions, which I'm actually being hit by remote microwaves. I said it long before it came out in the mainstream media, like a bunch of you guys, but they're still like confused and divided in their brain. So they're like, I don't want to feed us delusions about this thing that's actually happening. So people are just going insane, right? Um, I forgot my point about that, but it, so that's gotten better, right? That we can speak about these things in certain terms and not be considered a completely out of our mind person. The thing that hangs is you speak out about this, you get tortured worse, and they target you with other things worse, right? Which I really don't want to go into right now. But so we've taken off the like you have to be the most insane person to be talking about this, but it's still really dangerous if you're a real target individual talking about this stuff. Okay, that's it. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Like on Braveheart, right? We fight for freedom. We still have freedom, even though my brain's like enslaved, right? With God, I still have freedom. With God, amazing things still happen. with God, like my heart lights up when when I meet great people and things like that. With God, all things are possible. Even having freedom in a situation where you feel like you're in a Holocaust electronic prison, right? And it's crazy. And it's crazy to think that we could have some freedom of perspective and freedom of the spirit, and even some freedom of the mind, right? You've gone through so much that you're worth a lot, right? The system wants to say you're worth nothing and you're being experimented on, you're just getting the things that you have gone through. The things that you have gone through make you worth so much. Remember, everything is inverted in this evil system now. The energy amongst humanity, when and this is a microcosm macrocosm thing. They've messed with my energy because your brain creates your energy. Like you have a brain energy metabolism. Your brain creates it metabolizes energy, right? And then your brain kind of controls everything else in your body, right? So your brain control, like when people say, "Oh, that guy has good energy," I really, I dig that. I'm vibing with that, right? Your brain creates that. And then we have a soul, right? We have a soul, but I'm not sure what that entails scientifically. It's good that I don't know. It's good because my attackers don't know. We'll never know. But secularly, when somebody says that person has a good energy or something like that, it's your brain that creates that. Your brain creates that energy that you have because it's flowing through by your brain's controlling everything. Your heart too has a lot of neurons, and there's a key. There's something that science is missing about the heart, like where it's not just an organ pumping blood, but it has neurons in it. And people say they have a broken heart and stuff. They've used all these terminologies that were kind of passed down to them, where I do feel like our Creator, who knows tons more about us and than the angels in His chain of command, they know, and those things have been kind of instilled in humanity, the heart. But the science of when people get heart transplants, right? And I've done videos on this. A little boy will get a heart transplant from a boxer, and he'll want to box all the time, and he's never even heard, like, never been interested in that, right? There's a deep neuronal connection to the brain and the body from the heart that's so different than what the brain does. It's so different. Like if you could say the brain controls energy in the body, like in a logical way, you could say that the heart is like it pushes things emotionally stabilizes. An interesting thing, right? So just think about these things and what we're going through. It's ironic, right? Because it sucks, and we feel like the most unlucky people in the world, even though everyone's being ripped apart. Tons of people are being mind controlled. It's just like they're just dosing. They're just dosing the population with electromagnetic frequencies, right? So we're not alone, but it feels like that sometimes. But think about those things that have pushed up, right? That we've learned, that we've broken through and learned about these things more. And I'll keep talking about those things. Um, it's, I'm really rambling and just talking to y'all right now. So I'm gonna stop that. I have the freedom to stop rambling right now. That's a definite freedom. Happy 4th of July, guys. Let's keep fighting, keep moving forward. Like Captain Malcolm Reynolds, you keep moving even when you lose big battles. We really haven't lost. We've been fighting through this and surviving, and I think we've all helped each other. We've all tried our best to survive, and it's not just because the program hasn't ended yet. Sometimes I feel, I guess, horrible. I failed, right? One American citizen, I failed not stopping this global um, torch program. That's I understand that's insane, but it's still a feeling I have. Like sometimes, like we should have done it by now. This, doing the video, it should have built up, right? But it's such a unprecedented thing where there's more than just a topic to talk about. There's more than just a faraway war that people can talk about and be safe. it's a dangerous ongoing thing that people are very scared to talk about, and some people even think this is just the new way things are done, right? And that's a terrible thing. Think about the Purge, one night a year, right? The Purge movies, one night a year for 24 hours, people can murder each other and stuff like that. And it's supposed to release the beast. Well, they're doing this 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, murder and torture, and then us driving around on the streets and stuff like that, and gang stalkers on the streets, and putting everybody in danger, right? Um, we do not live in a country that is working on freedom for people. It's working on taking away freedoms, and that's what the globe. That's what kind of the global oligarchy is doing with every country, and mandating these things. Unbelievable that they're talking about a new version of COVID coming out, and I see people immediately, like, I just heard about it today, like on like a Timcast or something, and everyone's wearing masks. Everybody got the news on that. So you know that when when they want people to know about something, they'll know it that day, and people will eat it up. The mainstream media told us, even though everybody knows the mainstream media is totally controlled by intelligence agencies and agendas, right? Corporate agendas, global agendas. Everybody knows it by now, or they have to, right? Sometimes I wonder. I'm like, are we just the people that are truthers? Let's not call it that. Let's just people who are looking for the truth and actually seeing things and actually not afraid, or in a situation, right? I don't know if I'd be talking about all this stuff if I wasn't targeted, but there's no choice, right? I'm being murdered by this stuff that people consider a conspiracy theory. Think about that. And being murdered, being tortured by something that people think is a conspiracy theory. No choice. No choice but to look into things that people are like, no, that's a conspiracy theory. That doesn't exist, right? All right, guys. It's 4:20. It's 4:21. Got a negative minute. All right, guys. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next one. I'll be doing a lot of stuff. I'm gonna be doing a lot of stuff. Y'all are gonna like it. There's gonna be good information, and there's gonna be some good stuff. I'm not gonna compromise with YouTube and the internet. Let me tell you guys. Let me tell my subscribers. Please, please, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, I'm not gonna compromise with YouTube stuff. I still don't consider myself a YouTuber, um, but I'm gonna like use some things to help us and to help the people viewing my channel. Right? I'm not gonna put out crap and just put a good title on it and a good thumbnail or something. But I'm gonna try and be smarter about getting this information out. I've been grinding it for so long, guys. I just want to open up to y'all kind of and just. I've been grinding it for so long and saying, well, I'll just do these huge live streams and talk and everybody. I don't want to get into this stuff, but it's when you're when the torture gets really bad and it's really affecting your brain, it's like I can say like I can still do good things, but I got to do them in a certain way, so that I don't lose my mind, right? So that it's not just grinding it, and then when you're grinding it, your attackers like use a lot of that stuff. So you got to be smart and try and stay as calm as possible and do things in a calm manner, so your attackers don't have so much to grab onto and use, right? So many kind of stressed emotions, stressy. I'm freeing myself from stress today. I love you guys. I'll definitely see you on the next one. Happy 4th of July. Happy America Day. We celebrate what the spirit of America should be. We celebrate the people that keep that spirit, right? We celebrate our faith, the things that made us free, and we carry those things forward no matter how terrible things have gotten, no matter what kind of prisons we're in, right? More important to carry these things on, the belief in freedom and the hope that you will be free again when these dark situations are happening and they're so prolonged. It's so much more important to hold on to. Remember what I said. This is what I've learned in life. You're always, if you're if you're cynical, you're always going to be right, probably. in these times. With the way that things are so unprecedented, all these different things have to happen. If you're cynical and like nobody's going to help, you'll be right for a long time. But along the way, you're not going to do those right. Be optimistic, and you may be wrong about some big things, right, happening, but those things are still moving us forward, right? It's just a way better way to live. It's hard with the mind control and then messing with our resonance, but we've learned so much. There's a scientific way that the brain creates energy. We've learned about those things. We can learn about supplements that can do things. Cleansing the pineal gland is like going to be number one. Your face going to be number one, but when we're cleansing stuff, the pineal gland is an antenna. It just is. It's just an antenna, and our God created us with this antenna in our body. Now, I think there's just like targeting, just like these evil people are sending frequencies to us in many different protocols, the pineal gland picking up signals that are just so beyond the frequencies that we know about, right? And this is what I attribute to the chain of command all the way up to the one true God, right? But he has angels, right, that have done certain things for him. This pineal gland, the pineal gland is an antenna to something good to our Creator, There's a lot of science in between there, and I don't know, there's a lot of things we'll never know, right? I think that's the greatest thing about God is his mystery. And we oftentimes when things are going great, we're like, the mystery of God is so great, right? But then when things are going bad, it's like, I don't like that mystery. Why is God doing this? But God's mystery is the greatest thing about him, right? That mystery creates miracles in darkness that you don't think will go away, you know. So, all right, guys, I love y'all. I love y'all. And I just hope you're having a happy Freedom Day. Freedom Day, and we will fight for our freedom, whatever freedoms we can get, right? And that's going to be, you got to get with God. He's going to give you freedoms in this. He's going to show you perspectives of freedom. Even when your mind is trapped with people V2K'ing, there will be moments, long moments of freedom. If we keep moving forward and keep looking for these defenses, a lot of these defenses work very, very well. Very, very well. All right, guys, I love y'all. An hour and 30 minutes. I didn't really want to go this long. I just wanted to wish y'all a happy July the 4th, but also kind of just wanted to speak from the heart and see what came out, because like it's different. Like when you're thinking with the V2K, it's a lot different than when you're pouring those things out, and God gets in it much more this way. I can still think, but it's like I'm thinking about stuff, and then my attack of get out of there, or that's stupid, right? They'll be like that's stupid or something like that, and then I'll just do like a quick meme, mind meme, somebody flipping them off or something like that, or some of them I don't want to talk about. They're kind of gross, but it messes with them a little bit, I think. Um, Shouldn't have said that. I have the freedom to say that, though. I have the freedom to say that. We still have the freedom to speak out, even though they're censoring a lot of information. Dude, soon, I don't know. I don't know where this world is going, but pretty soon we might not be able to speak about certain things, like at all. Like, you know, I sure hope not. Not seeing a lot of secular hope, right? But when I hang on to God in the name of Jesus Christ, I start to see like I have total spiritual hope, right? And then these secular things start to unfold, right? Because God's hands in them, right? God's hand. It's like evil has this plan and he's moving along, and this is a very true thing. And he just takes all that and he can flip it into something that makes your life have a purpose, right? We could all be writing books and talking to a lot of people about what we went through about this pretty soon, like pretty soon. Naive, hopeful, miracle, unprecedented. you know we've got to leave a lot of room for a lot of good things happening. right? Got to leave a lot of room for that. Just very hard, the unprecedented thing, because we can look at, like, looking at history tells us so much, right? And we can look at those points in history, um, how the Roman Empire fell and everything like that. Mao Zedong's China and Nazi Germany, but they didn't have these types of technologies to control people and to hurt people. Like when somebody came to somebody's door with a gun, people knew what was happening, right? They knew what was happening to that person, and people could decide to help or they could decide to hurt, right? But now these technologies, when they're playing God, they're trying to play God, which they're doing a horrible job of. Because God is not a God of chaos and destruction. That's Satan, right? So they've been tricked. They think they're playing God, but they're just Satan's lapdogs. Um, I guess that's a good place to end it. Freedom Day. I love you guys. We're gonna keep trucking along. Yeah, I know a lot of people's torch is really bad. Dave cases CD at night, and the noise canceling hearing aids during the day is what I do. With grounding, definitely. Um, always try and throw that stuff out there. Those are the simplest ones. There's a lot of things that we'll be working on. All right, guys, I love y'all, and just have a happy July the 4th. Just try and enjoy it as much as you can. Um, I'll be coming out with some more information really soon. Really soon. All right, I love you guys.